right, welcome everybody. I'm excited for this one. I've been looking forward to this. We're going to be talking all things CX, and I brought on an old but good friend of mine, Lauren Gold, who's currently the Chief Customer Officer at Kustomer. That's not customer with the C, everybody. That is customer with the K. Lauren, how are you doing? How's life? Thanks for joining.
So good. So happy to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about kind of this, how CX orgs are winning with AI and retention and efficiency. But you have such a cool career. Can you tell us just a little bit about some of the cool stuff you guys are doing at Customer and a little bit on your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So, gosh, I'm passionate about all things CX. My entire career has been centered around like building great experiences, driving revenue, bringing amazing products to market. And so joining Customer and actually selling a solution or
Yeah,
being part of a solution for the CX industry for me is like just an amazing culmination kind of
that
all
is
things I've been working hard on for a long time.
cool.
So yeah, I'm a startup person. I primarily worked at kind of like smaller startup technology companies, always in the CX kind of remit, and just really grateful over the time that remit's kind of grown. And yeah, now I find myself as the chief customer officer
I
of
love it.
Customer.
I love it. Yeah, that's so fun to be able to like kind of do what you sell type of thing, because it sometimes, you're running CX and it's an IT product or something like that. But you're like, I do customer service and I sell customer service. That's super fun because much to the point of today's conversation, what an interesting perspective of someone who's coaching organizations on how to be AI first and adopt customer success, modern principles, but is also kind of leading a team to do that on our own time. So very
Yeah,
unique perspective. Wanted to see if
definitely
we
a
could
question. Yeah,
pull
sorry.
out some of that today. So let's dive into the topic at hand. Let me start here. Where do most companies, go wrong when they try to kind of fix CX with AI? I'd be interested on your take on this one.
Yeah, I think I thought a lot about it. I think I take it down to like kind of three core areas. One is just slapping AI on any system and declaring victory. Like now we use AI, so we're good. Two, over relying on AI and like not really defining the proper use case for where that's going to really amplify your team and allow us to
Yeah,
create a better experience for our customers. And then settling for small gains. Like people are just, like it again, it's kind of that mantra of like, I got to do AI. So I'm just going to find the path of least resistance and pick something really easy. And like, sure, that's a nice place to start, gain some momentum and get comfortable. But you can really like go big, like make some big mistakes and try for big wins with AI. And so I think kind of sometimes thinking too small, kind of
ooh,
sounds like your
interesting.
growth.
Yeah, I want to just click on that one for a minute because I think a lot of people are trying to figure out like, I have to do AI. The board is saying it, or we have to jump in. But yeah, do you kind of run for the quick wins? Do you try? I've heard some people who went for quick wins, they didn't see any results from it or something. So now they're kind of like, oh man, we went too small. Eating an elephant all at once is also difficult. There's so much change management. What's the double click there? Like, is it find a small place to start, or how do you coach them through that?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to, for like our own teams, right, is
Yeah.
like a lot of it's building trust with the AI. It's just like implementing anything. Like you want to,
Mm.
I'm a big fan of like crawl, walk, run, starting small, yes, but like with big ambitions to get
Oh, I like that. I like that asterisk. That's cool. Yeah.
and like you got to take the people with you, right? And like that's whether we're bringing our solution to our customer base or whether we're bringing new AI tooling internally.
Mm.
It's about building that trust. And I think like with any change management, think of like if a new manager joins your team, right? Like everyone kind of like freezes, gets shied up. What does this change mean? What does this mean for me? And
Mm.
so I think also being really transparent with your teams internally and then of course with your customers as well, like why are we doing this and why does it matter, like what's the plan.
I do.
um,
I like this one because, but I do like that asterisk. McKinsey came out with this study not long ago, and everyone's implementing AI, but I think it's a lot of like Chat GPT, and so there's no measurable results. So I love your crawl, walk, run with like an asterisk of like big intentions because I think that kind of keeps you aligned on let's not just get it in, let's get it in and actually see some like measurable results. You were
yeah,
just hitting this idea on a little bit on change management. feels like it's a big problem with AI in general, but it's not just internal. How do you help customers navigate this transition too of AI? Because it feels like the adoption's tough.
Yeah, well, it brings me back to a while back, where everyone, is all about like your digital transformation journey
Sure, sure.
and meeting your customer and understanding what's in their tech stack and what's the plan for their digital transformation journey. To me, it's no different than the AI movement. Like
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes it so exciting. Like this is an opportunity, for us at Customer, like for others to position yourself as a trusted advisor. Like I know that I like to partner and buy things from people that I trust, companies that are transparent and tell me what the tool does and doesn't do
yeah,
and like what
yeah.
I can expect from it. And so I think it's a really unique opportunity to like, I always say, like, meet your customer where they are. And like to do that takes time, it takes trust and understanding and asking questions and really understanding the customer's business and being an extension of that. Like
Yeah.
just like bringing any tool, like you can't just show up and push products, right? Like hopefully you're talking about solutions and outcomes. And that's what makes it fun. Like across our customer base, it's wildly different where our customers are like throughout their AI maturity model. And it's also changing really fast. Like we had a
Sure.
group of CX leaders together about 4 months ago. And the conversation was, consumers don't like chatbots and how can we make them comfortable? And they're used to bad, years of bad experience. And there's a visceral reaction to this. And like fast forward just 4 months later, and we've got like, we kind of categorize these groups and we have folks like raising their hand, like we're trailblazers now. Like we've implemented, 20% of our, volume is now with AI or all these different
Really?
scenarios. It's just people are moving very quickly.
Wow,
But
that's
I
such a
think,
great story. Yeah, that's
yeah, but you have to understand the persona, right? Like some companies are going to be ambitious and make big bets and make big mistakes and be okay with it, where others are going to be more conservative. And so it's not a one
kind of like,
size
yeah,
fits
where are
all.
you on that maturity curve, right? And each person's going at it. But the trusted partner, yeah, finding people that are transparent and that you can kind of work with on this, because yeah, this is like a enjoy the journey, because it is going to be a little bit of a journey. Do you feel, if we take a step back, you're obviously, as we said, such a unique perspective in the business, but also kind of coaching businesses. What trends are you seeing in the industry? What are you hearing on the ground? Just want to kind of get your big picture concept here.
Yeah, I mean, I think um I think like kind of on the forefront, because candidly it's probably one of the more straightforward use cases, right? Like companies are using AI to deflect or contain tickets,
Sure.
to answer the really kind of like quick wins. And I think that's actually great. I think that's
Yeah.
actually a really important step to, again, build that trust. Look, like a lot of AI relies on heavy like knowledge management, control as well, and making sure you have the right resources and data points internally too. So it's a growing pain.
Mm,
And I think it's a cool place to start. And it's also one of those like, um, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So that's just an area where like all companies need to get on board. But for me, it's always like what's great about, being part of a really fast growing technology company is that it's not about where you are today. It's about like you got to skate to where the puck is
yeah,
going,
totally.
like, and get ahead of it and bring your customers on that journey and bring that vision to them. Something like I think is really interesting is like how AI is amplifying the human. And
Mm.
I kind of think about like, well, we ran a reality check, we called it, a Customer, and found that about 32% of companies were actively using AI to assist human agents.
Okay.
50% were still testing, and less than 19% weren't using it to assist agents at all. And
Yeah.
so it's like the idea of like that consumer facing AI that I think everyone's thinking about, but like also how can you bring that tooling internally to like amplify your
Interesting.
own
Yeah.
humans?
Where do you feel like because I want to double click on that kind of assisting agent, turning people into kind of superheroes in 1 second, but where are you seeing that adoption? A lot of people are going to more the consumer facing initially, and then maybe adding a little more the agent, or where are you seeing it adopted higher levels on kind of customer service teams at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's more externally facing at the
It's more
moment.
that
Like
customer. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think like that's where the vast I talk to a lot of like obviously our customers, but
Well, leaders
non-customers,
in the space
like
who are
leaders
actually
in the
fighting the problem,
space.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like how they think about it, and it's funny because I think that like internal folks are more ready to get on board with that concept than
Mm,
it is around like their own work. I think there's still like a stigma around being, concerned like what does this mean for me?
yep.
But like you mentioned around like maybe I'm jumping the gun, but around like kind of the like bring does it help your best people become superheroes type of
Yeah, no, I mean, let's go there because it does. I think people are trying to figure out the best use cases. Where do I win? How do I implement this? Where do I see it? A lot of people have gone to the consumer side, the chatbot 2.0, 4.0, some version. I love your story on chatbot because yeah, it felt like people were getting tired of that, but now with this kind of resurgence of like a generative AI in the chat experience, does seem to be like there's a little bit because it's just not as frustrating. Great story. But back to that core concept, there is a fascinating use case about the agent side. Do you think AI tools, do they kind of turn your best people into superheroes, or is that the wrong model to go with? How are you kind of thinking about that?
Okay, so I have an opinion, and then there's kind of some fact based opinions.
I'm glad you prefaced that. That's important. Okay, we'll separate them.
So I'll go with my humble opinion first. Like for me, this takes me back to that like one of my favorite expressions, which is like A players hire A plus players and
Mm,
players hire C players. For me, it's like the folks I've seen, on my own team or like peers, others. The ones that are like leaning in and asking questions, like how can AI help me in my day to day? Like those are the A players. They're looking to become A plus players because they want to do everything they can to be surrounded by like people and tools to get faster, more effective, more strategic, and have a bigger impact. Where I think it's those B players that are like, does this mean I'm
mm,
getting replaced? What does this do for me?
that's a good
Am I
point.
threatened? And so I see that trend emerging a little bit, but I in the sense of like, I'm looking to my teammates who are always, I like to surround myself by people who are much smarter than I am. It's not easy to do, which is easy to do.
It's easy to do. I
Which is
love
easy
that.
to do.
It isn't easy to do.
It
Like, no,
is easy to do. Um,
that's awesome.
so like
Uh,
they're bringing, they're already using so many different amazing tools, and like so
sure.
I'm learning from them, every day. Like how can I think differently about this, even in my own day to day.
Yeah.
Whereas like some others, I think they're still shying away from it.
Yeah.
Um, However, the data
Okay. Okay.
shows.
So yeah, good. Okay. So that's your opinion. I love your A players. Yeah, B players. That's a good one. I might have to tag that. Okay. So now what does the data say? Yeah, hit me with that.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I think we're seeing like we have a really cool tool called AI for reps.
Yeah.
And that kind of as a, the older phrase like co-pilot, like our tool is much more comprehensive than just that. It's provide summaries to your agents, like all these different use cases. But um, as a tool to bring new agents up to speed, which is really cool, like a fast way to onboard, a fast way to get up to speed on, how you can resolve tickets faster, what the context is, what are all the details of a conversation, what's the summary of this particular consumer's experience over time. So it definitely helps new agents get up to speed fast. That's helpful since AIC is also kind of containing conversations at the same time. So the percentage of work human reps are doing will over time be like kind of more and more elevated. So
Yeah.
we're
Cool.
ramping up agents faster. AI for consumers, like customers, is deflecting more conversations, and like kind of all of these
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
together, making
Yeah.
the experience get more and more elevated. But we also still see that it's kind of lifting up those kind of agents that are struggling,
Hmm.
which is also really nice to see,
Cool.
right? Like agents that maybe aren't like kind of ahead of the pack or are leveraging AI to learn faster, have more help. Like you actually have like a little co-pilot, a little sidekick
Yeah. That
helping you
does that, that
out,
that helps. Yeah. That makes
which
sense.
is cool.
Makes sense. No, I like that. Look, I think that's a great comment because there are sometimes reps who don't, maybe they're not exceeding as well because they can't get some of the mundane tasks done, for example. And being able to have that little bit of that co-pilot type initiative where it's like, hey, I can do what I was maybe a little better at, but I was struggling managing some of this plus this plus this. So that's cool. And I think it's kind of the side that's off forgotten right now is, everyone's kind of, how do we replace? Or if they're not, they're talking about deflecting, but how do we kind of enable? How do we empower? Those are other words that I think are super powerful in CX, that the combo is, I think, where companies are going to be super duper successful on. So, okay. Well, I've rammed a bunch of questions down your throat. Our time is always short. Want to maybe just get your last piece of advice for the audience. So many people are trying to navigate this ever-changing environment. You're obviously at the forefront of it. What advice would you give someone kind of just starting on the journey here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have to remind ourselves that this is exciting stuff, and it's cool that we have the opportunity to be part of it. Like, this is a big movement, a big opportunity for our teams, for the industry, but even just for us as humans, right? Like, I'm sure everyone's starting to adopt it in their own day to day. So I think remembering that this is a journey, and like, we're going to be on it for a long time, and to enjoy the ride and have fun doing it, and like an opportunity for all of us to learn.
Yeah.
I think, we saw that 20% of agents said AI makes their jobs harder. 38% said AI makes mistakes. I mean, who doesn't? So it's not perfect, right? Like, we have to all be aware of that. And for us, like, we all have the opportunity to help enhance it and make it better. And that's like, we're in this big iterative phase, I think, as an industry, which is really cool.
Yeah. I
Um,
like that. I like that.
yeah.
Look, I think there's so much hype and there's so much pressure to like get in and get it, but this probably isn't going to be a sprint as much as you think it's going to be a marathon. And so gear up. I don't know, if you don't have AI figured out tomorrow, you're probably not going to, die. Take a deep breath, enjoy the journey, because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, I think, over the next 5 years. That's probably good advice. I think so many people are feeling a little FOMO, a little anxious. Like, I saw on LinkedIn that someone saved the world through AI, and all I'm doing is playing with ChatGPT. It's like, take a deep breath. You're not the only one. We're all figuring this out. I don't know if everyone has it perfect, so enjoy the journey. Cool. All right. Well, Lauren, so fun to reconnect. I love what you guys are doing over at Kustomer. Congrats on the recent funding announcement that was made just a couple of weeks back. So you guys are going to kill it. For the audience, have a fantastic day.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Gabe.